Hey guys, it's Quana back again with another The Ones Who Lived review, breakdown, recap. If this is not your first time seeing my face, if you have been here before for The Ones Who Lived, as you might know, we do spoilers. If you don't know that, we do spoilers. So watch this once you've seen the episode. You're not confused and you're not wrong. I have not dropped episode 3 yet. I am going to circle back to episode 3 later on in the week. But I never got a chance to film my episode 3 breakdown and review. And I watched episode 4. And so now I have to get episode 4 out of my brain. And I had to come to you guys because the episode was so good. This is what I'm talking about. It was good. Oh my gosh. Quick backstory. In case you did not watch like the after show or anything like that, Danai wrote this episode. Let that sit for a second. I feel like if this show does not get an Emmy nomination, I am going to be so angry. And if she doesn't get a writing nomination for this episode, there is no justice in the world, okay? This episode was so good. A1 in writing. Yes, we are still kind of dealing with a self-contained episode. In the good old days of The Walking Dead, this would be known as a filler episode. I don't think we can call this a filler episode because so much happened in the episode, and it really was about our two characters, Rick and Michonne, facing each other, finally having it out, bearing their souls to each other. Plus, we got a lot of answers for stuff that we had been wondering about the last 3 episodes. So hopefully you had a chance to watch the episode. If you haven't, run to AMC real quick. Go to AMC Plus. If you haven't filled out for a free trial, fill out for a free trial, because after this episode, there's only 2 more episodes left. And I think you get the free trial for at least a month, maybe. And sorry, my eyeball itches. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. My eyeball was itching. Do what you have to do to see this show, because it's so good. And if you fell off from The Walking Dead after season 8, season 9, with the whole Glenn of it all, like, I understand. Or if you fell off after Carl, this show is perfect for you, because not only do they kind of catch you up with what happened, but you don't need to know any of the stuff from the moment Michonne left, because she doesn't know any of the things. So you don't have to know any of the things. If you knowing the things is just dramatic irony. Like when they reference things, you know, stuff that they don't know, it's just dramatic irony. It does add a little bit of zhuzh to the show, but you will be okay. So let's get into this episode that picks up immediately after Michonne grabs Rick and tosses them both out of the helicopter. We get to see that moment again. We get to see them climb up out of the water, and they make their way to this building, and they make their way to this beautiful apartment complex that has like a smart apartment feel to the room that they find that is open. Like the apartment is talking to them, talking about the temperature, which is ideal temperature in a few minutes. They don't know anything about this technology because the world ended for them like eons ago, right? Like 2008 or something, well, 2010 to be exact. So they don't know any of this stuff that is happening, right? They're like, whoa, this is like extra. Rick is like, what is that? What is that? They're laughing about it. And then finally, it's like they finally lay it all out, right? Why did you do that? I was trying to keep you safe. Here you go, being G.I. Jane, G.I. Joe. I told you to lay low, and you broke the record for kills. First of all, just talk about the fact that Michonne broke the record for kills. He said, lay low. And she was like, nah, I don't dim my light for no man. I loved that. I love everything about this woman. She is just wonderful. And then she's like, well, oh, I see you must be a writer now, Mr. All Poetic, because that was some poetic mess you gave me at the getaway boat, talking about why you couldn't leave me. You're sitting here trying to stay here and abandon me and your children. Boom, bomb drop. We have all been waiting for the moment that she was going to let Rick know that he had a kid, a son. And he's like, children? You said children. Last I checked, Carl was gone. We got one kid. She's like, when the bridge happened, his name is Rick. We call him RJ. I was like, yo, I did not, it came so early in the episode. I was not prepared because I felt like they had been dangling it for so long. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of making breakfast and I had to stop and gather myself and clutch my pearls. They then, like, it's literally just Michonne throughout the episode just dragging Rick by his collar because he's being stupid and dumb and naive. And, you know, I'm not going to say he doesn't have a point because we don't know any of the inside stuff with the CRM. And he's like, it would be really helpful for me to stay here and make sure that they never find out about you guys, because if they find out about you guys, they're going to kill you. And so it's up to me to stay here and protect you. And she's like, that's some bull. And he's like, tells her about Jadis. And she's like, yeah, Jadis knows what time it is because, yeah, we can do anything. Jadis said that she, you know, when she saw that you found me, that the two of us, we could do anything together. And she's like, do you feel like we can do anything together? Because I know we can do anything together. The two of us can do anything. They can do anything. Guys, it was like, it's like the parents getting back together after being broken up, like, warm and cozy, all is well with the world, because Rick, like, really, like, let's be for real. The world has been topsy-turvy since Rick and Michonne have been separated from each other. If we're going to call it a buck, call it a buck. Like, it's not been the same. Then Rick is like, I did this to protect you. I'm not going back. And she's like, you haven't even asked me about your son. Okay? She said, you haven't even asked me about your kid. You don't care. You're not the same Rick. What happened to you? And he's like, I want to protect you, da-da-da-da-da. And so then they deal with a little bit more. And then Michonne's like, you know what? I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. And she walks out. The shot when she turns around though in the hallway to look back at him, and you could see you could just see the heartbreak, the disappointment and the heartbreak. Like, this is her man. This is her husband. And she's been looking for this man. She left her children to look for this man, and nothing. Okay? Hasn't seen him at all. And then he runs after her. Oh, I was literally sitting here praying. I was like, Rick, go after her. Rick, if you love this woman ever in your life, go after her. And when he leaves to go after her, I cheered. While I was cracking the eggs, I was cheering because he ran after her. Of course, what ends up happening. Oh, pause. I know you're like, Quana, you missed something. Because as they're arguing, they see their helicopter has crashed into the other building, and now the CRM is going to think they're dead. So she's really like, Rick, you have no excuses now. We don't have to go back. They're going to think we're dead. And he's like, I still got to go back because I got to make sure you and the kids are safe. You're lying to yourself. As Michonne kept saying, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. And the Rick that I know wouldn't lie to me. And so she walks out, and then eventually he trails after her. And now we get zombies. Okay, what we came for. We got the walkers, and the walkers are outside the building, and they are attacking. More than that, what ends up happening while all of this is going on is that the CRM shows up, and they detonate and destroy the helicopter because the CRM does not leave evidence behind. There's no clues. We can't let anybody know about us. And so all the more reason. Now they're definitely going to think that Rick and Michonne are dead. Unless there's boots on the ground looking for them, they got away. Now, because of this, the building is collapsing. The walkers are getting in. It's not a good thing. And we get the tension of that scene. Great action sequence with Michonne kicking butt and taking names, taking no names, kicking butt. And then Rick comes after her. And then we get to see them team up and fight together. This episode right here, I thought the first episode was good. The second episode was good. This episode right here takes the cake. This episode right here is Emmy Award winning television. A chandelier falls on Michonne and pins her, and they have to kill the walkers that are trying to get her while Rick is trying to unloosen the bolts to get her free. And he's like, I couldn't leave you. And she's like, that's my man. That's what I thought my man was about. Wasn't going to just leave me here. They make it back to the safety of the apartment, and they come to a head. Things come to a head again as they continue to talk and to deal with the trauma that they have both faced. Her thinking that he was dead. her telling him about what happened when she was pregnant, and that lady who branded her and Daryl with the letter X, right? Like the wolf-like lady or whatever she was, who basically like tried to kidnap all the kids. She tells Rick about all of that happened. And she finally, finds out from him what's going on with him. Like, why is it that he can't leave? Okay. They have their little moment. They have their little naughty moment. And I was like, okay, AMC kept it pretty tame because, they've been taking advantage of dropping those F-bombs this season. So I was kind of surprised that we didn't get a little bit more good. But they had the little good, beautiful romantic moment. I need somebody who does fan edits to take the edits of the dream sequences from episode 1 and put it together with like some of the footage from this episode, especially none of the like Walker footage, but just like the soft moments, so we can have this beautiful like romantic movie footage put together. It's probably only gonna be like 3 minutes long, but I thought that would be beautiful. And they have their little romantic moment, and Rick has a panic attack in the midst of it all. He's ready to go, and she's like, no, Nat told me I would know when it was time to move, and it's not time to move yet. Mind you, the building is falling down around them. Ceiling is crumbling. She finally gets Rick to talk about why he's been so afraid. This is where this scene right here, and how well Andy acted in this scene, and the words that Danai wrote for him in this scene, spectacular. My man says, she says, what did they take from you to make you give up? And he says, they took Carl from me. And he says, I was dreaming about being reunited with Carl, and eventually I couldn't see him anymore, and I stopped dreaming about him. And then I was dreaming about you. Full circle with the episode 1, right? And us meeting outside of all of them. And then they took that from me too. And I learned how to die knowing that you were out there and okay, but I was in here and I was okay with that. But if I have to go and I know that you're not okay, I can't die alone that way. Oh my gosh, I need a transcript of that. I need that scene. I need a breakdown of that scene so much. It was just so amazingly wonderful and beautiful. I just can't. Eventually, she holds him and she gives him the phone, and it's carved and it has Carl's picture, and gives him back Carl. Oh my gosh. She gives him back Carl and basically says to him, like, we can do anything. The two of us together, we can do anything. And no one can take that from them. And, they come together and it's beautiful. And he agrees that they're going to leave. They're going to go home together. We see them switch. They put on these blue shirts that reminded me a little bit of her putting on the button-down white shirt during season 4 as they were walking down the railroad tracks, her, Rick, and Carl, and she has on the white button down. For some reason, it reminded me of that moment. And it was a beautiful moment. And we see them leave, pack up and leave together. They find a hybrid vehicle that's got gas in the back and it's fully charged up and it's ready to go. And the show could have, in the words of Scott Gimple, the show could have ended right there with them driving off Thelma and Louise style, and us believing that Rick and Michonne are going to make it back to safety, make it back to RJ and Judith together. But it didn't. We still got 2 more episodes to go. And it's The Walking Dead, so it's going to get bad again before it gets good. But oh my gosh, was this a good episode. I loved everything about this episode. As you can tell, I'm super excited. Please get down in the comments and talk to me about your feelings about this episode, because we have to talk. I am going to come back and drop episode 3 when I do, because I did have a lot of thoughts about it, but it was almost like so much stuff happened in episode 3 that I couldn't talk about it. This episode, it was not as much, but so much happened. And it was just so wonderful. It was just, oh. Somebody get a show for Danai to write for, please, and thank you. Give this woman some money. This is what I needed. I mean, oh my gosh. I can't. Let's talk about it later, guys. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. It was just so beautiful. Such a good episode. One of the best episodes in Walking Dead history. I'm sorry. Argue with your mama. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Deuces. Toodles.